All right. How's everybody doing? Let's do a wonderful audio and visual check. Can you guys see and hear me okay? Let's just check that. Coach Jay, you guys can see it's Wednesday night. Welcome to Slow Markets, everybody. I do have Coach Jay above me. Let's do a audio check on your end, Coach Jay.
Check. Quick sound check. Hopefully everybody can hear me loud and clear. Dakota, you sound great to me. Hopefully everybody's having a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world.
Yep.
It's Wednesday.
You sound good to me. You sound good to me. Looks like everything's working well. That's always amazing. There's y'all suck coming into the chat. I don't know if I want that thing to think. It's funny though. Taking a negative and turning it into a positive. But let's dive to it, and then we'll jump into gold. I have the gold chart on 5 minute. So I'm going to hurry and run through this. It's looking pretty heavy where we might get a little bit of a sell-off and a breakdown below 61. But in our YouTube chat, there's our risk disclosure. This is not a signals class. It's for educational purposes only. Reread that. This is not a signals class. This is for educational purposes only. Understand that, live it, breathe it, memorize that. I talk about it every single night, and I want to 100% make sure you guys know that as well. So that being said, this is gold on a 5 minute chart. Let's take a look
Before we continue, Dakota.
Yeah, go ahead.
Continue, Dakota. It looks like there's a little bit of a reverb on my audio. Don't know why that might be. I can try to change my source, but it looks like a little bit of a reverb.
Okay, well, you sound good to me, so I'm going to hurry and jump through this, and then
let's do it.
We'll continue to test it as we go. So on the hourly chart, you can see we had that huge sell-off from some amazing all-time highs. We had a nice little pullback back up into these 60s. There is a chance that this has become resistance. We are seeing some sellings coming in at these mid 60s. So we could definitely see a sell off and a push back down to those low 60s, maybe the 50s. And so I'm going to go ahead and actually hop into a short because it looks like we are starting to break down a little bit. Just one contract. And then I am going to jump down to a 5 minute chart. And, same thing. We have a lot of resistance here at 2461.5. This is a really strong resistance zone. And then if we zoom into the 1 minute chart, it's the same thing. And it looks like I got triggered in right at the break of this little pivot from 4 minutes ago. And class just started 3 minutes ago. What's your thoughts, Coach Jay? I know you're watching the DOM. If you see anything come in, I am liking this short. I'm going to have my stop loss right above 64.1. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and get into 2 contracts just so that way I could manage my take profits and I could have 2 different targets for take profits.
Nice. I do like this short. I think there is room down to, what was that price target I had? 2437. 2437. I think there's some room down towards. That's a anchored VWAP from CPI from Friday, I believe. No, from Thursday. From Thursday, we had the CPI print. I think there's room down. Do we get there tonight? Maybe not, but during the market recap, we were talking about that being a potential target to the downside, so I do like that trade.
Okay, let me pass it over to your charts, and maybe you can explain it a little bit as well. So we got your charts. You can see it.
Yep.
They are a little bit blurry on my end, but I'm sure you'll be able to get that cleaned up. And as we're talking and as you get that cleaned up, we are starting to break down a little bit. Let's see. I don't know if this gold trade is going to be as amazing as the one from last night. That last night was just money. But we'll see. Go ahead.
Hopefully this is a little bit clearer now. This is a 30-minute chart, and this gold line down here is anchored VWAP from CPI. Now, if we look at a NASDAQ chart, I think we looked at it last week where there was a lot of room between that anchored VWAP and where the market was trading, which is basically telling us that the market is kind of up on lower volume. The NASDAQ did a full retracement of that move, but I'm looking for gold to do the same thing. Now, that's a 25-point move, which would be about 1 full daily ATR, so it might take the whole day to get there. But I do like it as a downside target if we do start to sell off.
Perfect. Fair enough. Are you seeing anything in the DOM or that could signal anything? I know you watch that, but
it looks pretty clear right now. There's nothing The closest order above 50 contracts is at 2460 below you. Up above, there's really not much there. 2495, there's an order of 50 lots sitting there as well. But outside of that, nothing close that you have to worry about right now.
Okay. Now there is a lot of momentum to the upside, so that is something to pay attention to in terms of like what we're expecting and trading against the trend, right? I mean, sure, there's an argument to say the short-term trend might be down for the day, but the overall trend is a lot more in terms of what we're expecting.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's just finding a decent spot to sell this. And you said your risk is above 64, which I think looks good.
Have you been trading gold at all?
I have. Yeah, I have. I traded some gold options. I haven't traded the outright futures as much, but I did trade some gold options in a personal account. But
okay.
Not too much in Topstep accounts. Do you normally trade it during the day, or are you only taking this trade at night?
For this gold in particular trade, someone made a comment in the YouTube chat. If you don't,
we can't see it.
Yeah, I know. They always distract me. It's funny how we have, hindsight traders coming in here and they just love to talk smack. And I don't know why I do this, but I do give them time in the day. They only come in and see, oh, there's something negative coming in, and they talk a little bit of smack. But anyway, I don't mind traders that talk smack.
Yep.
It's
P&L's
sad,
talk at the end of the day.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's as much time as I ever give them. I give them too much time, and I give them too much breath. But anyway, back to your question this is a 8 p.m. Central Time particular trade. This is a strategy that I've been testing out. This is a combine. This isn't on my live account, but this is a great example over the past. It's almost been 2 months since we've been talking about this gold trade, and it's not an exact trade. It's not, it didn't turn into 8 p.m. we just sell. 8 p.m. we just sell. It's been more of an open trade, right? Like the New York Session Open, a ranged breakout. We see a spike in volatility that comes in gold at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we see if we could find some trade, whether it's a breakout, a breakdown. Last night was an interesting one. Last night we had a breakout to the upside, a pullback. We entered in long on a pullback, and then we had that continuation. And this one, it looks like we're going to be breaking out. I got whipsawed in, and we could go through, and I already see a mistake that is a good example, and I think this is, I'm not going to flatten. I'm just going to let it hit my stop loss because I don't mind 450 in this demo account. So the first thing I'm seeing, Coach Jay, and I'm open for your thoughts, is
okay.
And this is always the hardest. And if you've been with us before, I see you in the chat all the time, is where do we put our stop losses? There's that one, I think it was Monday. Monday was I moved my stop loss. It went down. It hit my stop loss. And then it continued in my favor. Along with where do we put our stop losses, and talking about how difficult it is because there's no science to it. It's just whatever you do, be consistent. It's the same with entries. So I always like to base my entries off of the immediate pivot, and I'm going to continue to do this as I gather this data because I like to get in a little bit early, and I like to have a little bit better risk reward. And so if you could see my screen, I was basing it off of this pivot and just right here, and I was looking for a break of 61.7. So that is the pivot I was looking for. And so I'm gaining a little bit of risk reward, but I'm giving up probabilities. And I think we just seen that play out. The higher probability or the higher probable trade would definitely have been a break of the major support, right? And so maybe a break if it would have broke below 61 evens, then that trade could have been more probable. And for this particular example, if I was saying I would wait and I would wait for a bigger break, I would have never been in this trade. Hence, I would have never taken a loss. I would have been at zero. So what's your thoughts on that? This happens to me a lot. It really does. When I'm taking these higher risk reward but lower probable trades, I take a lot of little losses. But I mean, maybe this one was close enough
we're talking about a couple of points there, right? And you're going with the idea that it looks like it's selling off and we should get the momentum there. I think if we started to test that higher time frame demand level, you would be monitoring the trade there to see whether or not it's going to break. It's just one that didn't work out. That's really all I see. I think you would take that trade 10 times out of 10 with a managed risk. So I don't see much of a problem with it. The market reacted to an area and bounced from there, and that's all we can really hope for. I do like it better here. I mean, I know we only bounced about 3 points.
Of course you do. Yeah, because we're in that range, and we just went to the top of the range and tested it.
Yeah. Do like it better here. The Asian session opening range high is at 2465-ish, and we're kind of around 30. So it gives you a better area to limit your risk.
Makes sense, right? And I think this goes to the point of where I love this conversation with you, Coach Jay, and I love us doing this live in front of everybody because it's not a specific trade. And I was talking with David Green earlier. It's like everybody, I could show everybody my exact strategy, which I'm going to be doing next week. And I hope you could join me next Wednesday as well, Coach Jay, and we'll talk about it. But David Green, a successful trader, myself, any decent trader could give you their exact strategy, and everyone's going to be trading it differently. I hope this gold trade is an amazing example. Not this one tonight, but analyzing this gold trade overall is a great example, right? We know that there's a high probability that gold's going to have some volatility at 8 p.m. Now, how you trade that can be so different, right? I just took a loss. This was the worst example because I got triggered in, went up, hit my stop loss. Maybe there was some traders who were just waiting for a bigger breakdown below 61. Maybe there's some traders, maybe like yourself, was waiting to short it if we was going to go to 64. Now on the reverse side, I'm sure we had traders looking for a long, looking for a break above maybe 63.2 or a break above 63.9 or a break of the Asian session, right? And traders who were looking to get long for this spike in volatility. Here it is. Like, this is an amazing example. Traders who are looking to get long, waiting for this spike in volatility. It's provided an amazing opportunity, and I love to see this happen, regardless of whether I'm taking a loss in this demo account or not. Money is to be made at this time of night.
I was thinking about getting into that short, but we're seeing crude kind of shoot up to the upside as well. And normally, if there's news affecting crude, it's probably affecting gold as well. So I did not take that short. I was going to take it right at 2465, but I'm going to be patient now.
Perfect. Fair enough. I like it. So, yeah, either way, no matter which way you look at it, there is an opportunity that happens the majority of the time at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And as traders, we're going to find a way to take advantage of this move. We love volatility. We love movements in the market. That's how we make money. And we're seeing one. We've seen one almost every single night. Some nights it's kind of just an goose egg. Nothing really happens. But that is a beautiful opportunity. And, there you go. There you guys. There's a good example why I say this is not a signals class. Because then if traders take a loss, they'd be all pissed off. But they're super happy when they follow me and we make money.
That comment that we deleted, unfortunately they were right. But this isn't a signals class, so it doesn't matter if it was a bad call.
What do they say? A blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while.
Exactly.
But anyway, that being said, guys, before we hop into our regular rapid fire with Coach Jay, before we hopped on, we were having some fun conversation. So everybody knows I got transferred to a live account again. So I'm waiting for my live account to be active. As I was waiting for my live account to be active, I had a conversation with Mick and the team. I said, hey, I'm going to wait for my live account to be active. I'm going to try and trade some combines. In trading some combines, you can see I'm copy trading 5 combines. Well, I have 5 new XFAs coming tomorrow. So while I was waiting for my live account, you could see I was trading combines tonight. I was trading tonight and made the max profit on these 5 combines. So I now have my fresh new live account that I'm waiting to be activated, and I now have 5 more XFAs that I'm going to be trading. Yeah, I
ripping through combines.
Yeah, we'll see what the team says about that. Maybe I trade these XFAs in a different way. That's the beauty. That's another reason why I absolutely love Topstep. You have a live account. While you have a live account, you can practice in combines. You can test out different strategy in combines. And if you do well, you can get passed through XFAs. So, yep, 100%. I'm competitive. I want to get back on that leaderboard. I want to be pushing those. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do everything under my power to obviously show traders, I'm competitive. I'm doing this. I'm really serious about it. I'm going to hopefully show you guys by example. And yeah, that is it. How many combines did you blow to get 5 XFAs? Alex says, and the answer is 0. I activated
we got some
today.
Confusion. So. We got some confusion in the chat. Also, you didn't pass in one day.
Nope.
Combines that we trade, we have to follow the same rules as everyone else. So it was 2 days of trading.
Yep. So we could go to the statistics too. Here's the statistics. Here's the beauty of it. Yesterday when I got called up to my live on Tuesday. Today during the New York session, I passed. Tonight, I made another 4,500. So there we go. That is what I have been trading and practicing in this combine.
Here's the question I have for you, Dakota, because sometimes we see traders try to pass the combine in 2 days, right? And the type of trading that they're doing may not be the sustainable type of trading that they need to transfer to an XFA.
Correct.
For passing these combines, how many contracts did you take per trade?
Yeah, so it's really one of those things where it's do as I say, not as I do. I'll never tell traders to trade like me. I don't want you guys to trade the way that I'm trading because it's definitely not advised, I guess. Man, that's hard to say because typically traders struggle with emotions, and I would rather see traders, worry about the consistency. But I built a position. You guys could see here. Here are my trades. They weren't all winning trades.
Right.
This was it, right? 17, 17, 17. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that is if you do not feel comfortable trading, there's no bad thing about switching to a combine or switching to a demo account until you feel better trading. For me, it's just, sometimes I don't like to trade my live account. Here's a good example, Coach Jay. We trade on Fridays, and Fridays are my worst day. And so why would I want to trade my live account on Friday? I'll just switch to a combine and trade a combine in Friday. So that way, if I do struggle, it's not my live account. So that is pretty much it. There's my statistics. You guys could go through and read them. Yeah, that is it. Just buying the NASDAQ. So that being said, let's go over to the NASDAQ and let's talk about the NASDAQ today. Man, the NASDAQ. Let me switch over. This is gold. Let's go to NASDAQ. this was one I wish I was. I wish I had my live account on and my XFAs. Everybody last night knows exactly what I was looking for, and I see a lot of questions coming through. So trade like a bot, and everybody who's sending these questions, I'll get to them. Just be patient. I always answer as many questions as I can, but I'm going to be going through a rapid fire, doing some analysis. Send the questions in. We have some amazing moderators, and we will get to them as soon as I'm done. So this is kind of what we were expecting. Not this big of a move, not so far so fast, but I was definitely expecting about 20,200. So sure enough, very much like I was talking about in terms of, where can we see this market going? Are we seeing consolidation? Are we looking for a pullback? And yesterday, that's exactly what I was looking for. Is we had a sell-off, we had a little bit of a pullback or a rally, and then we started to have a more consolidation and started to sell off. And sure enough, I've been looking for 20,200. And then once we got there, then we've got the pullback we've wanted. Today we've exceeded that. We had a huge sell-off, and we've hit 20,000, Coach Jay, and
huge move.
It was such a huge move. This was very unexpected, and coming from someone who's like looking for consolidation, looking for a pullback, definitely not a day like this. So that being said, as we look at this market, has anything changed? Has today's price action changed anything about the way I'm viewing this? My answer is going to be no. This is very healthy. I talked to David Green during Power Hour. I know Hoag will agree with me. I seen him in the YouTube chat as well. This is a very normal and a very healthy movement in the market. Of course, I wouldn't want to see it this bad. I would have loved for it to take a little bit more time, but as we always say, staircase up, elevator down, and there was a lot of people jumping in to sell it. If we look back on April 12th, we've seen something similar, right? It wasn't as crazy as a single day. This was a nice run of, 5 or 6 days, and that was still further than this. So if we seen anything like we seen on April 12th, we could very well see more to the downside. I was only looking for 20,200. We've exceeded that. And so the ugliest day that I've seen, sure, we can say before this big rally, we've had uglier days, right? In this move. These are pretty ugly moves. And if we dare measure these ones to see if that is even possible, let's take a look. Now, this is a little bit further than, of course, what I was expecting. But now, since we've passed what our expectations are, we have to try and understand, where could we possibly go now? And realize, okay, this is a deeper pullback than what we've been getting. And then when we do get these deeper pullbacks, how far have we been going? And so, now I'm starting to look at, we blew through the 20,200s. So now maybe we see 19,800s. This was acting as some very strong support back in June. Back in June. June was not very long ago. But maybe we start to see this zone become support again. And I wouldn't be surprised. 19,800, 19,900 is not very far from where we're at. What's your thoughts on that, Coach Jay? I know you were talking about a little bit more aggressive selling than I was.
I told you where my target was.
So let's take a look.
Downside, if this really gets ugly. Hopefully these charts aren't too blurry again. But I have this daily chart up, just like you do, Dakota. I don't normally use moving averages for day trading, but for getting higher time frame ideas about what's happening, I do think they're pretty good. The yellow line is a 20 moving average. The purple is a 50. The white is a 200 moving average. To the downside, I'm looking at that purple line, the 50 moving average. Right now it's at 19,430. 19,440. Obviously, this is going to move as trading happens. But somewhere around the lows, I could see this moving average lining up with the low of this rectangle here, which is right around 19,642. Something that we saw in the market recap today was today's July 17th. And if you just go back a year to July 17th, 2023, it looks a lot like today's and this past week's price action, right? Where we made a high up near 16K. In today's example, it's that high we made near 21,000. We checked up near it. The market couldn't trade above it. We got no buying, came back down, tested the 20 moving average, came back up, and then closed below it. This close below is what we got in today's price action, right? Now we can see we came back up, tested that 20, and resistance support becomes resistance. And we trade below it. And that's kind of what I'm expecting with today's price action, right? We had a 3% down day, so I wouldn't be surprised to see part of that move retrace, right? Similar to what we had earlier in the week where we had a 50% retracement of that huge day down and then we continued lower. A 50% retracement of today's price action will put us right at that 20 moving average. If it acts as a resistance, then I'm looking for some room to the downside to that 50 moving average. And this is, it's not a market structure shift. We're not in a bear market or anything like that. It's a correction, like you said. This is the first time we closed on the daily below that 20 moving average since the beginning of May. So it's different, right? There is actual selling, there's volume in this move. So it doesn't feel as buy the dip as we might have on this run up. So just want to be conscious, right? That any selling that comes in is legitimate selling at this point.
Perfect. Yeah, I love that. And I agree 100% on that aspect in terms of where the NASDAQ's going. And I've seen a couple questions in the chat. And yeah, it just really depends. The question was like, Coach Jay makes levels and then changes them once they get violated. That's called trading, right? You create, and that's basically what I did too, right, Coach Jay, where we create levels, we create expectations, and we look to trade around those levels. If you take a loss, or if the market overshoots them or turns around, doesn't get those levels or violates them, then it's up to us as traders to do exactly that. We reevaluate, we reassess, and we copy, paste, and redo that. So very much like exactly if we switch it over to my charts. So I was only looking for 20,200, and that was where I was looking for it to be support. Today, we just blew through that. And now that it's no longer support, then it's up to me. That's our job as traders, is to evaluate what the market's doing. Our job is to react based off of the market's reaction to the price action. For me, it's technical analysis. Say, okay, well, that theory is no longer valid. What I believed was going to become support did not become support. And, if I traded it, I took a loss. Fortunately, I didn't. And now it's up to me to determine, okay, where can we go? That's what I hope to show you guys, and it's part of that learning for new traders and even experienced traders who are struggling to go through and be consistent. That's part of it. Every single night, or that's for me, every single night, we're constantly reevaluating the market. Or even during fast markets, Coach Jay, where we have an analysis and we're looking for the market to do one thing, and in 5 minutes that can completely change. And we have to react. And so many times, and you've seen this, where I'm looking to short the market. Something happens. And in a matter of minutes, oh, what are you doing? Are you flat, Dakota? Nope, I'm now long. And, 1 minute I'm looking to short it. The next minute I'm now long. That's called day trading. And that, you guys are going to see that a lot. And that's part of it. What do they call it? What does MP say? It's there's the saying, it's strong opinions loosely held.
Loosely held. Yep. Yeah. You have to be aware of what's going on in the market, right? That's called not getting married to a bias. If your bias aligns with what the market is telling you, then you're in a great place. But if you hold on to a bias and the market's going against you, right? Today, for example, in the NASDAQ, if you had a bias to the buy side, hopefully you had enough money in your account by the time we hit the lows, because
Man.
You got ran over. So paying attention, you can have a level all day, but a support, a resistance is only that until the market decides that it's not, right? So if I say this should be a support because I choose this number and the market says I'm wrong, then I have to admit that I'm wrong and not, dig my feet in the ground. I don't think any of us are trading accounts big enough to stop the selling pressure that we've seen. So, pay attention to what the market is telling you. Simple.
Yeah. And trust me, I think Mick and our risk team and they know better than everybody. I mean, people have been kind of programmed the past few months to just buy the dip. We were joking about it all the time. Low IQ play, just buy. And then you keep buying the dip, and then it keeps dipping, and then it dips some more. And it's like, okay, well, we're down 2%. Let's buy the dip here. And then it keeps dipping. And then it's like, okay, now we're down 2.5%. And then we do that again. And now it's like, oh my gosh, we're all the way down to like 20,020. It can't go any lower. And then during the end of power hour, boom, 100-point sell-off. So that's the freaking market.
I did take a short in gold. I'm short 24.66.4.
Okay, let's switch to your charts.
And I'm just risking the highs. Again, hopefully these aren't too blurry, but 24.66.4 looking like it's slowing down a little bit, risking the high today. So risking about $150 and looking for it to trade back down towards these lows.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that trade. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's finish our rapid fire, and then we'll get to some questions. Keep me updated on that trade, Coach Jay. We'll switch back to my charts. So back to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ on the 1 hour chart. Very beautiful. I love this price action. Obviously, I've been trading really well this past week. I went through. I struggle when we hit all-time highs. And, last Wednesday, I just want to short it. I built a pretty decent sized short options position. It's been working really well. I made the $40,000 Tuesday live in front of everybody in, of course, XFAs. And I really wish I could have traded today because it was another beautiful day. And so look at this. We had that huge sell-off Thursday, kind of a pullback, some consolidation. You could argue and say this was a triple top. We had a complete meltdown today, selling off, broke through these 400s, didn't even hesitate around this 200s level. And if we zoom out, I was looking for this to become possible support right around this, 200s, and I could zoom in, or at least or box. I was looking for this to become some type of support, and the market said, nope, we just completely sold through that. We even touched and briefly went below 20,000. We've seen as low as 19,960s. And the next area that I'm seeing as holding possibly as support is going to be this level, 19,900 zone, right? Where we see some support. We've seen a pretty decent amount of support in this zone, the low 19,900s. And so could we see that tonight during the London session? Sure. Yeah. I mean, it would make sense. Obviously we could see, massive moves overnight. So now that, we've just completely sold off, I could definitely see us going back down to 19,900. And then of course, the very next level that I am going to be looking at is right around the 19,007, dare I say like 750s. So 750s to 730s. So I see that as well. And then we can keep going through and down and down and down and down. But I do feel like this 730s, 19,730s, this is relatively in line for what I was looking at on that daily for that expected move. We was looking around the 700 to 800s. And so these are going to be two key levels I'm going to be looking at tomorrow and then again Friday when we're on Topstep Fast Markets. Now, remember, anything can happen. There's been plenty of times where the market just completely rebounds. You know, we've seen the market sell off 2% and then completely erase that. It's crazy. But
it happened the other day, right? We gave back 50% of that move. We had that Friday sell-off, and then Monday we gave it all back, or 50% of it back. So I would not be surprised.
Correct. Yeah. So now on the flip side, you know, if we do get a rally, then that level that I was looking at to become support, you know, can very well become resistance. So if we do rally up to like maybe these, I'm seeing maybe, you know, 130s, 140s, that could become resistance. Same for up here around the two, like this zone up here. I mean, now I'm just looking for areas of resistance. And this is what we were talking about earlier when it's like, hey, our levels got violated, time for new levels. And now let's analyze it. The market's trading below what I was expecting. And so now if the market rallies up, I kind of have a game plan to either short it or look for breakout trades. And if the market continues to sell off, I also have a game plan for if we are looking to buy it or looking to short it. So looking for some very, very basic support and resistance levels as we go up and as we go down. Or if we decide to consolidate, you know, play a range bound day. So very simple, very straightforward. Keep it super simple. And yeah, I think that's it. Now, before we move on to the next one, how is that gold trade working out for you, Coach Jay? I see some traders in the chat.
Pretty good. It actually hit my target. I was only targeting about 3 points on it because we had an anchored VWAP. So it hit my target. I don't like to just take trades off. Could I have measured that and probably held that all day? Maybe, but took about $100 on it. And I think it's going to continue lower. And the target that I was looking at, I'll switch back to Quant Tower. This anchored VWAP right here from the session open, it bounced off of it. And I said, you know what, if it comes all the way back up to my entry, I'm okay with getting back in the trade, but I'm going to take something off of it. Was that the right decision? We'll see when gold is down 30 points tomorrow morning.
Man, beautiful trade. Oh, trust me. What was it, Monday or something, where we were looking for that break to the long side on gold, and of course, I wish I would have gotten to more and held it longer, where we wake up and gold's just destroying all-time highs. But there you go. Y'all suck. Beautiful trade, Coach Jay. Man, love it. And that's the point, right? Always changing levels, always changing with the market. The market's always changing. We need to adapt along with it as well. So anyway, moving on, let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil, then we'll touch base on gold one last time, maybe talk about Nikkei. And I know we have a lot of traders talking about ES. And then we'll go to some questions from the chat. We're just past the halfway mark. So crude oil, rally. Beautiful. This is exactly what I was looking for.
You got my charts up, Dakota.
Yeah. Let me switch it to my charts. So I'm not exactly what I was looking for. Let me correct that. Okay. I was looking for gold to sell off, and I've been a bull on gold, or not gold, crude oil. I was looking for crude oil to sell off based off the daily. I did mention this key $80 a barrel, maybe a little bit below that as longs. I have not been trading it, but if we start to zoom out, so all of May and some of June, I mean, here's a good example of a level that I was looking at. Like, look at all this support and resistance here. You could see this $80 a barrel being a very major support and resistance. And sure enough, it was support. I did not trade this. I was not watching it today. But whoever did, that was a $2.50 move. That was a major move. And so the next question is, what do we do? How do we trade this? And is there any opportunities? Well, the first thing I am seeing is this could possibly be a pullback. And if there is an opportunity to get in short, maybe that's it. You know, there's a lot of support here around 81.80s. You can see support again on the 11th, and then on the 14th, and then on the 15th. And so if you are bearish, you know, this could be one of those areas right here, right now. It very well possibly could be based off of a technical standpoint where support can become resistance. In terms of stop losses, of course, I'd love to have a stop loss above there. And then for take profits, I could definitely see us coming back down towards the $81 a barrel. You can see there's some resistance around 81 and the 10s, 81.20 at the top. So if I was to get short right now, I would be looking for crude oil to come back and touch those 81s. Thoughts on crude, Jay? I know we've traded crude together a little bit.
Yes, we have. Crude is coming into rollover, right? So I think everyone should be trading the August contract at this point, trading U, where the volume was kind of split between July and August, but we should see more in August. But for the last 20 or so days, crude has been in this kind of higher time frame range. On the August contract, the lows are 79.55, the highs are that 83-ish area, we'll call it. And it's just been in a range. It's a wide enough range for opportunity, right? Where I think we came off the lows of that range this morning, and we're kind of bouncing up. We're right around 50% of it now. So if we stay in this range bound activity, which I kind of expect with the rollover week, somewhere up near these 83s, 83.20, and of course it's not going to be perfect because nothing is. We can see kind of these moves above that range, but somewhere up there, I would be looking to sell with the idea that we're going to stay in this range bound market right now. If we push up there and we just break through it, then it is what it is. But I'm going to trade that pattern if I remember to until it breaks. I think what I need to do actually is set an alert up there because we look at so many different markets that I would be looking at it when it's on the way back down. I would love to be able to take that trade up there if it presents itself.
Yeah, that's part of it. And that's why I always tell traders, focus on one market. You get lost, you get confused. And if you're new and if you're trying to be consistent, most of the time it's better just to stick with one market. Maybe play around, and then just stick with it. What's your thoughts on that? I know I've heard you even say it too. Finding one market and sticking with it. What's your thoughts?
Finding a market and sticking with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think especially if you are a newer trader and trying to figure out trading futures, maybe bouncing around isn't the best idea. And we see traders do well, right? Isaac Rivera is one of them. He only trades ES and he sticks to that market. He knows how it works. He knows when there are going to be good trades, when they're maybe not so good trades. I think you need to stick with a market long enough to know its personality. Right, because charts are charts, right? Where we can identify support and resistance anywhere, but we need to know the pace of the market, right? If I'm trading the NASDAQ during the regular trading hour session, I could expect a trade in 5 to 10 minutes. If I'm trading the 10-year, I might have to wait 2 to 3 hours for that trade to play out. So knowing the pace of the market is really important. If you're going to pick up a new market, don't expect it to trade with the same personality as the one you already trade. And the easiest way to figure that out is by looking at a chart, right? If I pull up the 10-year right now, the 10-year chart on a 3-minute is ugly, right? Like what is that? It looks like a line. So don't expect quick moves in markets like these. Take your time. I think it's okay to explore, especially if your market, if you're not having a great time, if you're struggling to find a good trade, sometimes it's okay to just switch over to a chart where you have no opinion. I think the one thing that happens with trading one market all the time is we start to have opinions about price, right? Where you have the traders who see the NASDAQ and it's just shooting up and they're just like, well, it can't do this anymore. This is overinflated. It's overbought. Leave your opinion out of it. The market is going to do what it needs to do.
Yeah. And Bill in chat says, the only reason I look at different markets is because it may give me more opportunity for my setup. It may give more opportunity for my setup. And yeah, that's fair enough, right? If you're trading a really good system and you're following your system and you're good at the rules, then yeah, that is definitely it. But if you're brand new and if you're trying to learn how to trade and if you, this is your first time trading, then yeah, I'm strongly going to recommend one market, focus on it. Or like I said, maybe play around with a few different markets and then maybe do that for a week or two and then make a decision like, okay, maybe I only want to trade ES and gold, or maybe I want to try gold and oil, or ES and NASDAQ. And then just kind of narrow it down. We just don't want to see traders who are just spread between like 5-10 different markets and then they get lost and then it just ends badly.
If you find yourself in a 15-lot Mexican peso trade and that's the first time you looked at the chart, it's time to take a break. it's it's time to take a break. All right, and it's available to trade on TopStep accounts, but make sure whatever you trade, you're managing your risk.
Yeah, just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Right.
Anyway, let's move on real quick. The Nikkei, Japanese market, NKD, very similar to the NASDAQ. Last night, we was looking to see if we could get a short back to the bottom of this range on the hourly chart. And that played out absolutely beautiful. And we sold the off dramatically. That was a huge sell-off on the Nikkei. It's getting ugly. It's getting ugly in the Nikkei. I definitely, very similar to the NASDAQ, starting to look at different areas of support. We're finding some buyers around 40,200, and we're starting to see a little bit of a pullback. Maybe we could get up to 40,500 would be the next level. I could see some nice support and resistance around 40,500. So if we do get a rally, I would look to sell it. For me, it's where do I sell, finding opportunities to sell it. The next level would be 40,600. We do see some resistance back at the beginning of July around 40,600. And then we've seen some resistance again during this sell-off. So I'm looking for opportunities to sell the Nikkei because very much like the NASDAQ, there can very well be a possible continuation because the next major support and resistance to me is going to be that key psychological 40,000 level. 40,000 level is going to be a key. I mean, it's psychological. It's 4 and then followed by 4 zeros. It's very big, very psychological level. And then, of course, we have a lot of resistance and support, as you could see back in the end of June. Next, let's move on to ES. I'll touch base on ES. Maybe you have more conversation than I do on the ES. But the first thing I'm seeing is major support, major support back on June 11th. This is an hourly chart, and we are starting to see that support again on ES around the 5640s, maybe 60, 56. I would dare say, 5640 plus or minus, $1.
I would agree with that. You said June 11th or July 11th? You're seeing that?
I'm seeing July 11th.
July 11th. Gotcha.
Yep, July 11th. And then there is also some consolidation on July 8th. But it's really, 5640 plus or minus $1. It has been very strong support and resistance here for ES.
Yep. So Friday at 7:30 Central, we had news. I don't remember what the number was. Someone in the chat definitely does, but I know there was news. That was the candle, this 30-minute candle here, this orange box that I just framed out. 50% of that candle was 56.34. It's kind of where we sold off to and then bounced. But yeah, this is it was a sell side imbalance, right? There was more selling than buying in this candle. The market pushed up from it. So right now what I'm looking at is whoever the sellers were in here, when we trade through these prices, are they still there, or do buyers defend that level? Right? Because if we can see how the candle closed, there was more selling than buying, but the candle closed higher than it opened, right? So those are technically trapped sellers for the price action that we've seen since then. So as we trade back down to their prices, want to see if they're getting what they're looking for at this point.
Perfect. I like it. And then another thing I'm noticing now is, maybe we do get a nice bounce off this level. And if we do, the first area I am going to be looking at is going to be right here around, let's see what this level is, right around 66. So 56, 66. Maybe we could push up to 76. I mean, there is some, a decent sized support at that level. Right there around the 77, maybe actually 77, 78. So those are where I believe if we do get a nice bounce, maybe we look to either sell it or we look for breakouts above there, and support becomes resistance. If we break through, we'll look to buy it on the pullback. That being said, let's go ahead and let's get to some questions. You had that amazing gold trade, Coach Jay. I took a loss on.
Happy I got out.
Yeah, did it start to bounce again? Did it start?
Yeah, it's pretty much right back at my entry now, which again, it's the lower volume time. Not expecting too much out of that move. I probably could have squeezed, another $100 out of it, but I'll take what it was for the trade for tonight. One question I did see, Dakota, if we can bring back up my charts real quick, someone asked how we can find trapped sellers or trapped buyers. And again, everything that I'm going to say right now is going with the assumption that that's the intentions of those market participants, right? We don't know if I'm reading order flow. I don't know if someone's selling to close or selling to open a position, but here's a perfect example here. This 30-minute candle, this is negative 1800 delta in this specific candle. Now, if we just assume that some of those sellers in that candle were selling to open a position, the market closed higher than it opened, right? Because this is a blue candle. Blue on my chart is, a positive candle, but there was negative delta in this candle. So there have to be, with going with that assumption that someone sold to open a position here, they at this point are trapped, right? Well, for what the price action did. Now, were they building a position and are they selling the entire way up? We don't really know, but whoever sold in this, if they're still holding that position, they're trapped. And then the vice versa for the other side, right? If the market is pushing up and you see negative delta at the highs, those are trapped buyers. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I like it. So let's get to some of these questions. We got a lot of questions that I have building up. It looks like Oli Ali, first-time viewer of slow markets. Love to all my fellow insomniacs here. It's 2:50 a.m. in the UK. Wow, welcome. I always welcome new viewers. And while we're here, let's see, who's new? If this is your first time, let me know in the chat. I'm really interested in see who's new here. But as we're waiting, let's get to some of these questions. I really need you to answer this question. Do you trade with more discipline with 3K loss limit than 12K? Trading like a bot. I trade those exactly the same. That's really up to you to believe me, but I trade a 3K loss limit with the same amount of discipline. I trade even a 30K daily loss limit. It's the same exact strategy. It's the same thing. It really is. It's more a psychological aspect when you're talking in terms of a dollar amount. It's just a matter of position size. Maybe a good way to point it is like, my daily loss limit is 15 points. Whether that 15 points equates to 3,000 or that 15 points equates to 12,000. It just depends on your position size. New for live Topstep. We've got a lot of new traders. That's a lot more than I am expecting. I love that. New from Montreal, Canada. New. Second time, old timers. Man, I love it. We have so many new traders, and that is absolutely the reason why I am dedicating more time to Topstep, why I'm going to be going over more in depth next week of the way I trade, and then possibly adding a new class dedicated for, brand new, fresh traders, beginning level classes, and then intermediate, and then hopefully advanced. And I hope you, Coach Jay, would be able to join me on some of those intermediate and advanced classes. I've been working with Gabe, maybe getting an hour before slow markets to where we could just hold a beginner's class right before slow markets, or an intermediate class, or maybe even doing it for the second half of slow markets. Not sure. There's a lot. There's so much going on. There's so much that I want to do in terms of dedicating a little bit more time for the traders for that exact reason, because I continue to see new traders and I absolutely love it. And I love getting these questions and they're at all different levels. That being said, here's a question right now. Do you ever use the VIX? Is it divergence as well for the NASDAQ? So me personally, I do not use the VIX. And so I think that answers both of them. I do not use the VIX. Do you, Coach Jay?
If I'm listening to my guy, Nick for a tick, no, the VIX is not real. So I do not use it either. I understand that it's a, volatility index, and maybe the only way I would look at it is if the VIX is up, right? And this is, I guess, how everyone is looking at it. You could expect larger ranges in some of the markets that you trade, but I don't use it on a day-to-day basis.
You don't use it.
And
okay.
shout out to Isaac Rivera, first time joining slow markets. Great trader with Topstep as well. So shout out to you. Thanks for joining, Isaac. But no,
Awesome.
no VIX for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I must have missed his name in the chat. It's so hard. The chat go and fight. Yeah, I love. We were just talking about him too. It's one of those where how he focuses on the ES, and it's a beautiful example of someone who focuses on one market and he does really well in one market. So that is awesome to see. So a couple more questions. Coach Dakota, do 3-bar reversals still work if the market is sideways, consolidating? I'll say yeah. Like I said, nothing works 100% of the time, but it depends on where the reversal comes from. If you're playing a range-bound market and you're looking for a reversal on the top of the range, maybe that is a good 3-bar reversal. If you're looking for a reversal at the bottom of the range, right, maybe that's a good 3-bar reversal. It just really, really depends. And that's what I'm going to tell so many different traders. If you're looking for a reversal pattern, it depends on where that reversal pattern comes. If it's at a key support and resistance zone, then it would make a lot more sense and it would increase your probabilities that that's actually a reversal. If it comes in like a middle of a range, then yeah, maybe it's just not happening. Or if it's bar coding, then you're not going to get a 3-bar reversal if the market's choppy and consolidating. So I hope that answers your question. And one more thing. Let's see. Last question, guys. Last question, and then we'll come to the end. And I have a few things I was just gonna jump in and talk about, but this is an important one that I think I ran into myself a little bit. I'm sure you've seen it a lot, Coach Jay. Is every time I get close to getting a payout, I go on a losing streak and have to fight back. I feel like I'm trading the same way. How did you get past this point? So what's your thoughts on that one, Coach Jay?
It's a great question. I'm sure a lot of traders struggle with it the same way a lot of traders get to that point of passing a combine and struggle with that last day of passing it. If you're tracking your account to say, hey, if I make $200 today, I'm eligible for a payout, you're trading with a monetary focus, right? Whether you like to believe it or not. That's not how we want to make trading decisions, right? We obviously are all trading for the potential to make money, but if money's the first thing on your mind, you're not going to make the right decisions, right? Because you're trading your account. So just don't even think about it. Just continue to take good setups. Obviously, if you're getting close to a payout, you're doing something right over a couple of days. I would say be surprised by it, right? Trade your account for a week. Don't look at the P&L, right? Obviously, you want to track how your trades are doing, but be surprised that, oh, wow, I traded well, I can take a payout. If you're tracking that number, having that monetary goal there, it can limit you, right? Where you might think of it as, hey, I only need to make $200 today, and the market might present an opportunity for you to make $2,000 or $20,000, but you're going to limit yourself to only finding that $200 opportunity. Just trade what the charts are telling you, and you'll be in a position to take a payout, whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
and you'll probably like it.
That's the same thing. I go through it. It's 100% emotion. If you feel like you're trading it and the fact that you're getting close to a payout, then you start to struggle. The common denominator is you thinking about that money. That really is what it is.
Yeah, right.
There's no other answer. There's nothing else that I could explain other than, yeah, I mean, you're thinking about the money. It's a mental thing. It's hard to get through. What else can we say? I mean, I see it all the time. And as soon as you get over that hurdle, things are going to feel so much better. It really is. Yep. Once you get that first payout, things are going to hopefully start to work, and you stop thinking about the money aspect, and you just start. Yeah. It's process over profits. The more you focus on just execution, the money will come. Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. When is the last time you traded and said, I need to make a specific amount of money today? Like you gave yourself a dollar amount, and did you hit that number?
Today, I traded my XFA for that. Do you see it on my chart? I hit exactly the 45. Okay, but in my personal account, in my live accounts, no, I don't even think about the dollar amount. I trade what's in front of me. For example, like Thursday, I was looking to short, and then I trailed it, and we sold off, and it was an amazing trade. And I ended the day, I'm like, wow, 40K in one day. And then, of course, I continued to trade. I gave back a little bit of that. But I wasn't thinking I need to make this amount of money. That is a very difficult thing. And that's one of those one of the biggest hurdles when it comes to transitioning to trading full time. And that's why I don't recommend trading full time, because now traders start to think, I have to trade to pay my bills. And that's so much pressure already on one of the most stressful jobs ever. So you have a lot of pressure just to trade. And then if you're trading for a reason, in terms just to make money, then that's double the pressure. So I think I'm going to leave it at that, Coach Jay. But other than that, we do have, and I've seen there's a lot of traders here from the UK and from all over the world. Topstep's an international team, and the amazing D, she now has that London session called Opening Call London. That's at 3:30 a.m. So I haven't watched it because it's 3:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And so if you are new and if you happen to be awake, then definitely that is a great class. I haven't watched it. Dee's amazing. She's an amazing trader. I love listening to her. So 3:30 a.m. Central Standard Time is when she starts it. Maybe one of these days when I can't sleep, maybe I could join her. Or when I have a screwed up sleep schedule, maybe I'll join her. It's great to see that. Topstep. It's a
great class.
Yeah, it is. And Topstep's continuing to expand classes. I'm now able to dedicate a little bit more time and looking to help expand and help traders. Dee's doing that London session. Danielle is amazing, and the Topstep team, they're just providing the value, and it's on YouTube for free. And I really wish I had something like this going through, and I love the fact that we're continuing to provide this to traders that are around the world, not just stuck to the New York session.
I would agree. Topstep 23.5 is coming soon. Non-stop tradertainment, trader education. It'll be great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. As I was looking at my statistics, did you see that the journaling thing is now available?
Is it really?
Yeah. So you can see my screen, right? So if you just go on the calendar, you could click on the day, and then it says add journal, and then you could just write your journal there. So I think
very nice.
Yeah, that just came out, and so yeah, just as I was talking about adding value, I'm super excited. I'm on Topstep X, and now I'm on Topstep X with a live account and Express funded accounts. So beautiful journal. You could see a picture of the day's performance. I love that. That's not new, but it's just something I love. And then you can see all the trades for the day. And look, you could put a journal. Wow. Okay. You could put a journal on each trade. Okay.
That's dope.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How cool is that? I'm so happy I'm over here on Topstep X. Like, look at this.
It's constantly evolving. It's just going to keep getting better. Keep getting better. And I know we had some issues this morning with the trades, and I already see some traders in the chat say that, those were resolved. So just be patient. Issues are going to happen. You got to remember that this is a new platform, pretty much a brand new platform, and we're testing it live, right? Or not even testing it at this point. We're going live with it. So there are going to be hiccups. Topstep always does make it right, and we had some traders with that example of that today. So I'm excited to see where this thing is a year from now, because it's getting a lot better every day.
There we go. I'm doing my journal entries, saving it. YOLO trade, save. No, this is so cool. This is such a cool feature. Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, I think that is a great way to end it. Yeah, glad to have everybody here. I know there's always negative Nancy or just a negative trader that pops on the YouTube and wants to cause drama. We're all for all traders, but whenever you start to cause drama, we never want that. And I'm always in a situation where do as I say, not as I do. This is not a signals class. Trying to show you guys, trade. Coach Jay had an amazing trade. We're always talking about amazing contract. Amazing examples and amazing education. So all of that. Any closing remarks, Coach Jay?
Not much. Oh, so we do have news tomorrow before the New York session opens. So just be aware of that. What news it is, I can't remember. It's too much stuff going on. Let me check. Jobless claims, 8:30 Eastern time, 7:30 Central. So just be aware of that if you're trading tomorrow morning. Maybe not having a position going into it. Let the dust settle and trade after it. But whatever you do, manage your risk, trade well, and we will see you on Friday.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you, guys. Take care, everybody, and maybe we see you with D at 3:30 a.m. Well, I won't be there, but maybe you guys will be there. Take care.